we're going to start with some Christmas gifts for you. What teams this holiday season need to take them to the next level? We're talking about some of the top teams. For you, King McClure, as we look at this season so far, as we move into 2026, what have some of the teams that you've liked? Let's start with Houston.
Well, what I've liked with Houston is the way they compete on both sides of the floor. I mean, defensively, they're special. I got to call their game against Florida State, and they're so physical. They're so dominant defensively. There's nothing easy, whether that be on the perimeter, whether that be at the rim with JoJo Tugler back there protecting it at a high level. There's nothing easy on the floor, but offensively, they have been so good. I mean, Uzan, Sharp, those guys have inserted into two new roles. When you talk to Kelvin Sampson, he'll say this. He said our number one, number two option last year was L.J. Cryer and J'Wan Roberts. Well, this year, the number one, number two option is Sharp and then Uzan. So now you're throwing two guys who have never been necessarily the first or second option ever. You're throwing them into two new roles, and I thought they've done a really good job on being able to fill those shoes. Then you bring along a guy like Kingston Flemings, who is fitting into that third role, and he's exceeded expectations like we talked about last week. And then Sinak, I mean, he's a little up and down, but he plays hard and he competes, and that's what you want from a Kelvin Sampson big. And I know he's never ever pleased with this team. He always says like, I think he'd be doing better. But I've been thoroughly pleased. Yeah. But I do think this team has a higher ceiling than last year's team.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got two pros. You have two first-round draft picks in Kingston Flemings and
they went to the
Sinak.
Championship last year, though.
I know.
So you're telling me Houston's going to win the championship?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they have a higher ceiling. Will they get to that ceiling? We don't know. to be determined. But their ceiling is higher because you're now playing with two NBA players.
I want to ask you this because you were there. You saw him boots on the ground. Uzan, is he playing with that little bit of extra grit this year and confidence that he will need if they are going to win the title?
I do think he's playing with that sense of confidence.
Okay.
I think that he's showing and he's having to score the ball more than he was asked to last year. Last year, he had big shot after big shot after big shot. This year, we need that every game.
Yeah.
Last year was more so we can play through J'Wan, we can play through L.J. Cryer. But if Uzan wasn't scoring last year, they still had chances to win.
Yes.
Because he was the fourth option. This year, if Uzan doesn't score, their chances to win go down by a lot.
All right, what do they need to unwrap on this team if they're going to reach that full potential?
Bench scoring. And mind you, every single thing I said was all about their five starters.
Yeah.
I didn't mention anything about the bench because they have gotten zero production from the bench. They do not score well, and they have guys who play hard. Everybody that gets inserted into the game and plays for Houston, you know they're going to play hard. Yeah. You know they're going to compete defensively. Offensively, when it whether be McCarty, whether that be Miller, no matter who it is, Harwell has shown flashes. He's had some games where he's been pretty decent, but they need these guys to at least be able to give them something.
Yeah.
But for them, bench scoring.
Another heavyweight, Texas Tech, right? They've been streaky this year. What have you liked so far about them and Grant McCasland's team?
Well, very similar to what I talked about at Houston, but a little different because I love their top two. I love Christian Anderson, who I think is an NBA player. I love JT Toppin, who I think is a National Player of the Year contention. But they need other guys to step up.
Who's it going to be? Who needs to step up? If you had to pick, who will that be?
Well, Watts is a guy who I think has the potential to be able to step up and to be able to take that next level because we've seen him have big games. We've seen the way that he can play in certain moments. However, it's not consistent. It might be one game here, one game there, but it's not something where you can count on him every single night. They need more guys to be able to step up, but I love their main two guys. I love JT Toppin and what he brings to the table, Mr. Double-Double, as I like to call him, because every single time he steps on the floor, you already know that's a 20 and 10 guaranteed night every single night.
For Watts, you know, we a couple weeks ago, 36 points against Northern Colorado. That was sort of a coming out party for him. When you're a young player like that, that's really trying to find your footing in a league like the Big 12, how much does that help you? Like if you could just go off for 36 one night.
Confidence. Yeah. I think it shows you that you can produce at this level. And for Watts, I mean, the way that he's built, my man is built like a linebacker. My man is swole, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at him and the way that he's built, his physical presence, I think if he can help them on the defensive side, and he can really, take pride on that side of things, I think his offense will come along and it'll be more consistent. But I think the number one thing he has to help them with is on the defensive side when it comes to rebounding, when it comes to guarding fours. He has to be that physical presence because he can be.
Okay, let's get to Allen Fieldhouse. Let's talk about Kansas. What has impressed you about the Jayhawks?
Their ability to be able to win without Darren Peterson. Because when I saw them early on, when I saw them against Louisville in that exhibition game, I said, goodness, this is Darren Peterson and friends. They do not have anybody on this roster that knows what to do when Darren Peterson goes out of the game. But Darren Peterson gets hurt. He's missed 7 or 8 games, right? So now, what do?
Yeah.
They go to the Players Era tournament. They find ways to manufacture wins. They get dubs. Bill Self is taking this team and all of a sudden figured out ways to put them in positions to succeed, right? Marco Jackson, the guy who we have been looking forward to seeing, he's finally rising to the occasion. He's finally the Marco Jackson we expected him to be. You look at a guy like Trey White, transfer from Illinois. He has been great. Melvin Council, the St. Bonaventure transfer, for him to shoot the way that he was shooting and all of a sudden go to NC State and knock down 9 of them things, oh my goodness, Melvin Council was absolutely unreal. An overtime win. This team is manufacturing wins without Darren Peterson, and I've been so impressed.
Yeah, and they will eventually get that superstar Darren Peterson back, right? And then they're going to mean business.
I mean, you hope so.
Yeah,
you hope so.
I believe they will.
Yeah.
And by the way, Bill Self, not only, he looks like he could be a Hollywood star right now. As best the guys look, he's ready to play.
He looks great.
There's something to that, folks. I believe there's something to that. So I can't wait to see how this one unwraps for Kansas.